I wish to speak to the importance of laws as a means of bringing a proper structure to a right-thinking society. Mr. Speaker, the rule of law brings a level of orderly functioning and seeks to bring a level of fairness, of known operational measures, of structured norms within a society that should be universally acceptable and applicable. In the absence of rules, in the absence of a rule of law, Mr. Speaker, the consequence would be a chaotic system of anything goes, where each person would do as he or she pleases. Our laws or rules or regulations, our various standards and codes of conduct, therefore, function as a sort of guardrail for society for us to operate within. And as societies advance and we change and we evolve, it is inevitable that likewise our legal system, our parliamentary system, must also retain a level of flexibility in order to accommodate some of those changes. And Mr. Speaker, this is part of the advancement of the rule of law, which at times must be adjusted in order to remain relevant and effective. The Honourable Mover showed where what may seem to be a very simple change to our laws, however, is very critical to how that system of how people do things operate. And this amendment has come about because late last year, as the law was then, it provided for those in our society who run establishments to sell liquor, each year had to appear before the summary court, the magistrate, to renew their licenses to sell liquor. And as the economy has expanded and more people have been granted licenses to sell liquor, it becomes a sort of traffic jam on that last day of the year to get before the court to get those licenses. And last year, many people were unable to do so because there was a half day, a half holiday, I'm told, and so the court was not able to entertain them. And many people are still struggling to maintain, as it was, to get that license. So this year is to adjust the law so that our citizens, our business people can operate within the law rather than have to go outside the law, and they become part of that structure. I would say, Mr. Speaker, is a very simple amendment because what this does allows the minister responsible for finance to be able to set a date or date when the court can now sit to hear these applications for renewal, and so not in any way to disrupt further the orderly processing of applications. I should say very quickly, Mr. Speaker, that the regime for somebody to get a liquor license and somebody to renew a license is quite extensive. Because if one was to look at the Parent Act, one would understand that such a person or entity would normally have to establish that they were fit and proper person to get a liquor license. As a matter of fact, Mr. Speaker, there is quite an extensive application process for a first-time person, but also if you have to renew your license, you have to show that there has been nothing untoward that has happened during the course of the previous year for you to be able to get such a license. It's important to note that to get a liquor license, you have to be able to show to the court that you are somebody of fit character, that you can stand as it was. As a matter of fact, the magistrate, there are grounds for the refusal of an application, and these, I read them from the Parent Act, that the premises are unfit for the purpose of a license applied for, or are, in the opinion of the magistrate, undesirable to be licensed. That an applicant is a person of bad character. That the applicant, having within the preceding 12 months been a holder of a license in any part of the state, has allowed his or her licensed premises to become a nuisance to his or her neighborhood. That the premises for which the application is made are so situate that they cannot be kept under effective police control, that the premises are likely to be a nuisance to the neighborhood, that the applicant has neglected to comply with the provisions of this act in making his or her application, that the applicant was not of age, that had not been old enough to get a liquor license, and so forth, Mr. Speaker. So that the granting of a liquor license is not something to be taken lightly, and there has been traditionally, and as the mover of the amendment of the bill has said, goes back more than 100 years, goes back a significant time, that we have studiously maintained that those who sell liquor in our society should be of good and proper character. What this does, therefore, is that by going to the magistrate's court and applying, we are conforming to that tradition. But the one day is not enough. And that this allows the minister to establish another day to be able to allow people to apply. I would want to say, Mr. Speaker, that those who grant the licenses, and in this case the Inland Revenue, the controller of Inland Revenue, has made recommendation to the cabinet for us to review the system, because it can be onerous that people have to go through this process all the time. And we may well be coming back to have a more efficient process as times have changed, that allows us to do business with more ease, and where other safeguards can be put in place to protect our society, our citizens, and our neighborhoods. But with those few words, Mr. Speaker, I just want to support the move of the bill and to wish this amendment safe passage to this honorable House.